Do you have blocks to receiving in your life? This is a particular area that you really, really want something. Whether it's money, so you can't pay your bills, or you're true beloved, you're separated and you really want connection, or you're connected already but you just want more, etc. Or a great job, and so on. So part of the issue is that there can be some blocks in us that we're not aware of whatsoever. We can manifest till the cows come home, and for some of you, you're doing some quantum work and the visualizations and etc. Still not happening. So in terms of receiving from one particular person, that's more complex and tricky. But in terms of receiving overall from the universe, there's some stuff that we can do to help transmute our blocks that are really important. So that's what this video is about. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Rémi. I've been in the helping field for some decades, and I work with a combination of energy psychology and visualizations, work with high beings, work with the unmanifest, and etc. So we help people go to a higher level so they can transmute their basements and various other energies around them and relating to them. So if this is of interest to you, stay tuned. Now I'm going to talk about various areas or potential blockages and what you can do about it. And then I'll take you through an exercise to help transmute some of the energies. I have a little bit of a tickle in my throat, so if I make funny noises, I apologize. Okay. So, so let's start with this lifetime. So early role models. So we saw our parents, for example. They went through particular challenges. They handled life in particular ways, and so there's a map that we develop inside of us in terms of this is how life works. This is how relationship works. So in terms of the early memories, that's called implicit memories. We may not be conscious of it whatsoever, but we have that from when we saw the way dad treated mom, for example, or vice versa, the way they interacted. We have a map in terms of that. And we have a map in terms of handling money. And for example, for me, I grew up as a Catholic, and you're a major sinner, so obviously you shouldn't be receiving much, and so on. That perspective. And I saw my parents being sick and shriveled and so on. So that affected my development over time, and it affected my relationships as an adult and etc. Just to give you a little bit of an idea. So you think in terms of for you, what did you learn in terms of for that? And there's aspects in terms of adolescence and later relationships, and all of these have an impact. With the early stuff, the early bonding, the first year and a half of life, of piles of research has shown, is really crucial. And for boys, we learn, for example, that between the ages of 4 and 6 approximately, there's a major transition that happens for a lot of males end up shutting down. So, so let's talk now about some of the other angles. Um, just this this particular topic is really important, and we can unpack that more fully. If you're interested in my unpacking some particular areas in videos that I put on YouTube, just let me know, and I will do that. So another aspect is ancestral trauma. So for those of you, for example, who went through major deprivation, your grandparents or great grandparents went through the Holocaust, or you were in a major war, or etc., and that had major impact on them, and that affected their DNA. And those changes, research shows, it gets passed on to their kids and their kids and their kids. So all of these can be cleared. The various issues that I talk about, there's blockages at the energetic level, the subpersonalities and so on. All of this can be cleared and transmuted. As the saying goes, God rewards those who persist. So another issue is collective consciousness. So for example, I've done lots of work with the twin flames, along with my true beloved Jill, who ended up becoming really sick and has tried to heal more deeply by withdrawing from the world. So so the collective energies in relation to twin flames, piles of people say your twin flame is irrelevant. They were just a catalyst for you so you can grow. Or a collective consciousness in terms of people who have lots of money are losers and bums, right? No way I want to be like that. So, etc. So it depends on what we saw and our group, our cultural group and the family of origin and etc. in terms of what we learned. So you think in terms of the area for you that's important for you in terms of I want more. There are blocks to early childhood and later on in life, adolescence, etc. Ancestral level, collective, and now past life. The last one I want to talk about a little bit. For some, when they come down, they didn't particularly want to be here, so they resist, so they're closed. Closed to being here, therefore closed to receiving. Just like during the pregnancy, if somebody didn't want the pregnancy, that didn't want you to exist, then we're conscious of that. And that affects your mom, that affects your family, that affects you. Right? So you need to clear those things very precisely. And same with past life. We may have vows of poverty, for example, or vows of celibacy. I have no clue. So we continue trying and trying and trying to get, and it don't work. So the quantum clearing and energy psychology and various other methods and can be really wonderful. But if they're not sufficient, then we need to go more deeply. This is what this is about in terms of God rewards those who persist. So I try various various ways and angles to resolve an issue, and then you need to go more deeply. And that's part of what I've had to do as a trainer in the field of couple and family therapy and etc. Work with trauma of various types. I have had to go more and more and more deeply, looking for in really weird places, in terms of negative energies of various types and etc. Tell people clear and move on. That's what we do in our webinar series. We teach people that, and that's what I do in my sessions as well. Okay, so let's do a bit of an exercise now. I want to talk with you about how I'm going to do this. So this is from our webinar series, our principal series, our main series. It teaches multidimensional transformation. It teaches people over 100 methods of transformation. And first you need guidance in terms of how to assess very precisely where your block is. They might have just one block and then you resolve and it's gone. Or you may have 15 blocks. Or you may have blocks from various places. You came here to help the world in terms of this particular issue, in terms of how to handle poverty, for example, how to resolve that. So it's orchestrated for you to have a whole bunch of different blocks in different places. It's not related to karma necessarily. That can be part of it. But think of it as more and more learning and going more deeply for me. Okay, so a variety of charts, and I'm going to work with you now. I'm going to work with you and spirit in terms of I'm going to ask a couple of things, and ask to be. I'm going to ask for guidance in terms of which items should I focus on with you right now in this video that would be useful for the viewers in terms of receiving? And it doesn't matter which area of receiving. So we're doing in general blocks to receiving now. They can be very precise blocks in terms of money, for example, but it's also blocks to receiving overall. We're focusing on the broader aspect. Okay. So other players. This chart looks like this. I get guidance in terms of where to focus on. You can learn how to do this. You can learn how to be extremely precise to clear issues that you've been struggling with for all your life, lifetimes even. So, children, I don't know what that means. So blocks to having children, blocks to other players. So when you were at school, for example, and your siblings, for example, messages you got from other kids in terms of what you were like. So let's say, for example, you were bullied and you were shown, you were told you're just scum. So you get bullied. And really sensitive people, sensitive males, for example, more likely to get bullied. And for females, the sensitivity is less likely to be an issue, but I know a lot of boys are labeled as sissies for being sensitive and they don't cry and etc. So that issue. So it relates to openness. So I should not be open because I'm going to get dumped on. So I think in terms of having been pushed around in the past, whether by one sibling or by a bunch of kids or whatever. I think in terms of you learn some particular things in terms of closing down part of you. So you see what I'm doing is I get guided a little bit and then I connect with my intuition or guidance internally in terms of, okay, so what does this mean precisely? And next, okay, how do we clear that? You can learn those things very precisely. For those of you who have this webinar series already, multidimensional transformation, you have all the tools already. So, and for newbies, I'm just showing you what's possible for you in terms of going really precisely. Okay. So this is, the message is what level are we focusing on? So partly the mental level. That's the main one we're focusing on for today for this video. So it's negative thought form. So if people dump on you, so whether it's your parents that dumped on you, one of your parents, or a sibling dumped on you, or other kids or whatever, imagine it can create like a dark cloud over your head. Wherever you go, there you are. So wherever you go, there is the cloud. So one of the things I said earlier is we work with various high beings and higher energies, and a quantum, etc. to help people clear. So we can clear in general in terms of receiving. Let's do that first. So go up to a higher level of consciousness now. Do that now. If you're driving, you don't do this in driving. Or doing something dangerous, like cutting vegetables. Go to higher consciousness. You can put your hand on your heart chakra and breathe in and out through there. Breathe in and out a little bit more deeply than usual. Be an appreciation. And this is a wonderful exercise in terms of I want to receive a particular thing. You can start there. You imagine at the quantum level, you imagine I have it already. And there's some research in terms of this is tricky what I'm going to say. There's some research that talks about visualization is the same thing as 3D experience. Well, of course it's not. We know it's not. But the way the brain works, the research that has come up so far shows that it looks the same. So visualizing it is really helpful. And you don't have to be able to see it. It just, where mind goes, energy flows. So in terms of manifesting, in terms of getting what you want, start there. So you start broadly in terms of receiving. Be an appreciation for what you have in your life. Start there. Good. A little more. If you believe in God, you can say thank you, Christ, for example, or thank you, divine, whatever fits for you. You be in gratitude more fully. And imagine you're receiving sunshine, for example, or you have a pet. The yummiest part of your life is your cat, for example. So imagine receiving from something you love, and receive at the physical level, the energy level, the DNA. So imagine receiving energetically, pardon me, at the cellular level. Imagine receiving in your emotions. So the part of you that feels sad or, whatever, you fill that up, nurture that. Works great to do this with goddess energy, works better. So I can imagine Kuan Yin, for example, Mother Mary, for example. Good. Mental level, so perceptually, the way you're seeing things, is you're receiving the abundance already. You're receiving what you want already. About now? Imagine I have the money to pay my rent, for example. And you feel that, so you're grateful for that. And you see your landlord being happy that you're paying the rent, for example, if that's an issue for you. And feel that energetically. It's like sunshine. Your whole being fills up energetically, receiving. Now this is an exercise you can do. Ideally, to manifest, you do it 20 minutes a day. And you visualize really clearly what you want. And then you look for blocks. If it's not happening, how come? Very precisely. Okay, so we were talking about kids and messages. So at the mental level, imagine clearing. It's actually a negative thought form that can happen. So that's 2 feet, 2/3 of a meter over your head, the mental layer of your aura. See, very precise. It's really nice in general to imagine sunshine and etc. But the more precise when there's blockages, the more effective. If the clearing in general doesn't work. Clear from your aura, the first layer of your aura. Let's say you were shamed a lot. So let's ask your violet flame to burn away the shame that's right next to your body. Greater peace. Good. Okay. So I'm going to do there may be more that needs to be done. It might be something really precise, with a precise thing that happens, so you can clear that. So you just watch and see, and then you assess for yourself. I need more precision with this, or no, this is a broad pattern for me, or whatever. Okay, we'll do one more. Clear my personality. Couples issues. 9. Interesting, it went to masculine, then to feminine, then to couples. So that's what this one looks like. Sabotage. Good old sabotage, right? So we can have sabotage because it's part of us it feels we don't deserve. And it's really deeply embedded in us. And we're not conscious of it. No, it's the other guy. The other guy's the bum. Who's in a bum? Not me. Me, I don't got nothing. Me, I'm clean. Right? So, so it's really important to watch for, how come I did this? How come I did this particular thing that turned off the other guy? And I knew it was going to impact them. For example, nagging at the other guy. Or shaming them, etc. Being really judgmental. Or I was really tired, I just dumped on you. It had nothing to do with anything. So we can take responsibility, but what about next time you're going to be tired? Are you going to do it again and again? No excuse. I take responsibility for my imperfections, and let me look at myself more and more deeply so I can transmute, so I can be better in relationship, for example. Better in terms of receiving money and handling money responsibly, or whatever it might be for you. Okay. So what level am I dealing with self-sabotage? Not this lifetime. See, I'm being guided. So I use the pendulum to start off with, and then there are tears there. So it's self-sabotage in the past and not forgiving ourselves for example, having been rich and treated people badly. And now I sabotage myself this lifetime, kind of karmic thing, or I treated you really badly last year, and I had a difficult childhood in terms of bonding issues and so on. So now I don't deserve, I don't trust. I'm afraid of getting close to you. One of these aspects, or a combo. So you see, it's complex. There's a number of different factors that can be involved here. So let's just do a clearing in general in terms of self-sabotage, focusing on relationships. Let's ask to bring our sub-personalities up to the light, to be transmuted for this lifetime. Your inner masculine, right side of your body, your inner feminine, left side of your body. Bring greater sacred union between these two parts. Imagine greater peace. And as we clear within ourselves these issues in terms of between my inner masculine and feminine, the deserving and etc., as I clear that within me, as within, so without, right? So it changes us in the world with our beloved or potential future relationship, for example. Greater peace. Good. Good. Come out when you're ready. See how you're doing. Now, for those of you who want more from us, we have a variety of videos online you can choose to check out. And if you want more than that, then we have a really brief thing called that daily energy clearing. Helps you to clear things. If you want to be more precise in terms of I want to develop mastery, clearing for myself, or mastery in terms of helping the world. If you work as a healer, for example, uh, the bigger package, the full meal deal in terms of how to transmute all kinds of different things energetically is multidimensional transformation. So if you're curious about that, then hit the button below for more information and so on. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this. You take care for now, and we have more videos to come. So if you're interested, hit the button below to register with us, so that you'll be informed when there's a new video. Okay, all the best for now.